Let's go for clarity is everything. The clear statement of the problem, the facts and the evidence well articulated, well presented in a discussion, and completeness, an open-ended discussion, dialogue, Q&A, good listening ability, good observing ability, discipline, maturity, long-range thinking, fact accumulation, and assessment. That means testing it for effectiveness, workability, clarity, and probatives. Better questions to ask. But first, you've got to make sure of the universe of discourse. That you're talking on the same page. That you're understood. You have to do everything to totally eliminate any possibility of misunderstanding and miscommunication. That comes first. There's nothing more important than that. That requires paraphrasing, repeating back what you've heard to make sure what you've heard that you're hearing accurately, that you're hearing objectively. And I agree with Dennis Prager, although I disagree with most everything Dennis Prager says. But this I do agree with. Clarity's everything. It's more important than a disagreement in a discussion. Much more important. You have to be clear on what you're disagreeing about. That comes first. But I am an evolutionary thinker. I believe in the evidence comes first. The facts, the cold, hard, brute facts, carefully enunciated, set in a very deliberate and careful model of reality. And that model must be argued for and defended all the way. Discussion, dialogue, accurate dialogue. Questions. Better and better questions, more informed questions, more participant questions, engagement, everything has to be turned into what I call a meaningful experience in the now. Let nothing go unchallenged. Everything has to be reframed and reformulated without losing the quality of what's been said in a way that is testable, verifiable. You've got to learn to make the esoteric exoteric. That which is complicated, that which is convoluted, easily communicated and understood by the village idiot. We go nowhere bullying around. And I agree with Prager, Dennis Prager again, when he says feelings don't count for nothing. I agree with that. The behavior's everything. I agree with that. The objective, accountable behavior. You have to be able to give a running commentary on what you've said and done that's created the situation. Your 50%. You have to memorialize. And the key thing I find is when something happens, deal with it right then and there. Don't let it live a life of its own. Because then it's fresh. You have the facts. You have the situation right before you. A lot of people are too agreeable, too passive. They want to make nice, nice. I'm okay, you're okay. You win, I win. No. No. You have to fight for your ground. You have to know, but George Carlin is correct. When you do stand-up comedy, you have to have an opinion. You don't have to be right, but you have to stand for something up on that stage. You don't have to be right, but you can't vacillate. You have to take a position, and then fight like hell to defend it on a very vigorous, aggressive opposition. Resistance is everything. It's called the pushback. Rush Limbaugh's got it right when he says, from the Tea Party right, from the extreme right, he said, this is what pushback against the left is like. And the left turns right back into Rush's face and says, Rush, here's what pushback looks like from our point of view. And Rush said, no, here's what pushback looks like from my point of view. Let's get it on. And he questions Rush's side. The conservative deep party, the hard conservative right. And he questions this side. And he questions from the left side. And he questions from you. And he questions from, let's get it on. Let's do it. Now you fight like hell to present your model of reality. But if you have any philosophical prowess, when you're demonstrated by the evidence and by argument to be wrong in your thinking, you have to incorporate that into your model. If you're being fair, if you're being practical, and the practical, applicable behavioral aspects of what's being said are all that matters. Because they're the things that are objective. It's out there. We can hold them, we can judge them, we can see the effects. But you have to listen. And if you're going ad hominem, if you're so married to your social reality, you can't listen. When I come in as a philosopher, I'm here to be proven wrong. I'll put my position out there as clearly as I possibly can. I'll take questions. I'll clarify further and further and further. I'll be the last man standing, fighting for clarity. The last man standing. Fighting for dialogue. Not looking for agreement. If agreement comes, it comes out of the struggle. It comes out of this fight. Feelings have nothing to do with it. I agree with that. Fairness has nothing to do with it. Right or wrong has nothing to do with it. The truth with a capital T has nothing to do with it. Religion has nothing to do with this discussion. Now let's get it on. You find that clarity is the toughest thing in the world to achieve. It takes tremendous physical conditioning. Here we go back to that. Now I'm getting back to the point. It takes an iron foundation. It takes training, hard grit training, driving iron, building muscle, getting tough, building core strength, balance, coordination, speed, punching and grabbing power. Assertiveness skills, not being afraid of anything. I don't care how many people are opposing you. Not being afraid of anything. Not looking for the truth with a capital T, but looking for good give and take. Good dialogue. In the arena, and we see what happens. In the now. All power is in the present. All learning is in grabbing the meaningful moment, a meaningful experience in the now, a teaching lesson in the now. I hold it tight. When I see a chance, a meaningful teaching moment in the now, I'll grab a hold of that. I'll grab a hold of that regardless of not being liked socially, regardless of being a social pariah. Getting hold of that immediate learning, teaching moment is more important than anything. Getting some dialogue, a little good give and take. A little good, if you're being deceptive, if you're lying, if you're trying to intimidate, if it's to you, it's a power struggle. If it's to you, it's one-upsmanship. Fine, I don't care about none of that, long as you're clear about it. Long as you express that goal in clear, clean language and behaviors, I'll deal with it. I'll deal with it.